Hello and welcome to Providence Decayed, our Call of Cthulhu stream for 12-sided stories. This is the first time we're doing one. I have some awesome players to help me out with this zero session. Let's start with B.
Yes, hello everybody. I am your non-binary busy bee. You can find me on Twitter as @B_Zelda, and I'm bringing my expertise of having played this game so minimally that I have no idea what to do, and I'm very excited about that.
You are actually the perfect player for this because, you don't need to know a ton. You just need to know when you need to run or push someone in front of a monster.
You've rewritten some of the rules too, haven't you, to make it a little bit more
I'll get
palatable.
It's resolve rules. Instead of doing sanity, we do resolve. But I'll get into all of that in just a little bit. But yeah, perfect. I have done that. Okay. Let's go to Michelle.
Hey, I'm Michelle Otis, and I don't know anything about Lovecraft or Cthulhu. My username is only Miss Shulu, right? But I'm super looking forward to this game. Looking forward to it.
Janine.
Hi, I'm Janine. You can find me on Twitter at Blips and Chits. I also play on... Oh, wait, are we doing the plug your stuff now? Sorry.
It doesn't matter. You're already in there, so you might as well... Yeah, I mean, it's fine.
Better commit.
I'm a regular member on Total Party Chill on Sundays, and occasionally a guest star on our Monday show, Under the Table, where we do indie games. But that's it.
Awesome. Saint.
Hello, I'm Saint Spider. I'm real rusty to being even live to anything at all. So I'll just say, hi, I'm excited for the squid monster, and you can check me on Twitter if you want more nonsense.
Now. It's not going to be a squid monster. More, maybe it might be, who knows. So this is our zero session, which is going to allow us to talk about the setting. It's going to allow the players to kind of give their input so that they can be more involved with the overall aesthetic of the game. Like B mentioned in her intro, we will be using in their intro. We will be using the resolve system. Basically, you can do, instead of sanity, we do resolve, which is fight, fawn, flee, or freeze. So if they miss their roll, there are different degrees of how things will go wrong. And it basically takes out the mental health conditions that are in the original game. And I've never really liked those very much, and I think that it works a little bit better for our group in particular. So those are things you'll see in action as we go through. We will also be talking about our blinds and veils and things that we are okay with and things that we are not okay with. Basically, the general ones are, to me, common sense, which is racism, transphobia, sexism. Most of those isms are all just, kind of...
Yes, and isms.
Isms, yeah. They all exist in the world, veiled away. They're not part of our game. We don't really... That's not what our stories are about, so we don't really bring them up. And then we're going to also talk about personal things that we want to avoid, certain fears. Like, I know that Michelle and I don't like children being killed. Now, there is a caveat to that. If they're already evil children, that's fine. But we don't like it. Like, look at Timmy. Timmy's great. Timmy's an NPC for 5, and then we're going to hit him with a truck.
Those are entities.
Yeah.
Oh gosh.
Yeah, entities appearing as children is different, you know.
I like the distinction. Okay.
So, you know, we don't like, you know, evil vampire children that you didn't really get to love from the, you know, 1700s are one thing, but we don't, you know, Michelle and I get, it might be a parent thing, I don't know, but that's just where we land on it. So real quick, let's just, if there's anything in particular, the thing is I know these players. We've played several times, so I kind of already know, but I think it's important to go over this stuff for other people who might be playing Call of Cthulhu to kind of see a good way to do a zero session and to be able to do it themselves at home. You definitely should always talk with your players and always talk with, you know, be open and know where people land on certain things. So let's start with Michelle. Is there anything besides the biggies that I mentioned that you want to avoid?
Not really, because I love being scared. And even though like in real life, I am terrified of bugs and spiders. I can't help it. When they show up in a game and it makes my skin crawl, I'm all for it. I like being scared, so I'm good with just about anything besides all the isms and stuff.
Right. Well, and one other thing though that I know, at least because we had a game once where I brought up a character that had died from cancer, and that was kind of a triggering thing. So I'm personally, I think I'll if it's an illness, I'll just say an illness. I won't specify what illness is doing what. And there's my phone for some reason. There we go. It's now off. So B, what about you? What are things that you want to avoid?
Yeah. So I guess before I even add anything, what is our setting per se? Because I'm trying to imagine what am I most likely to encounter, because I don't have any overarching lines, but I might have some veils if they're like, are we
absolutely.
in a city? Okay. What year are we?
If that will help, I will definitely go over all of that. This is going to be set in 1932, 1931, early 30s, and it's basically set in the New England area, so Salem, Providence, that area, and it's definitely going to be Lovecraft cities, so Arkham, Innsmouth, Kingsport, all this stuff within the same area. The crash has happened. We're only a few years away from war again in Europe, and basically this area is dying. There used to be a strong like fishing industry here and whaling industry back in the 17 and 1800s, and that has all gone away. And the only draw really in the area is Miskatonic U, which is the university in Arkham. So I'm thinking we're probably going to be tied somehow to Miskatonic U, and you can all be from different backgrounds, but we're going to make some kind of club or society or some kind of group. That's what they have groups within Call of Cthulhu that kind of brings everybody together from different backgrounds. So that's the overarching, thing.
Within that, I know there's a lot of things we can encounter, but none are really lines or veils. I think that's kind of a setting in a world that I'm excited to explore, because there's a lot of messed up things that can occur within that.
Yeah. I often think of like Carnival from HBO and like that kind of setting. And
if you've never seen it,
it's
well worth it.
It's well worth it. But it's, how do I put it properly? Yeah, I'm not going to be, obviously, the biggest problem with this particular era and with this particular writer, which I'll go into in a little bit, is obviously racism, sexism, and elitism. Those are all, that's the big hit list for old H.P. Lovecraft that we're going to be avoiding completely. So, yeah, he had a lot of things. There's a lot to unpack.
He was not a nice guy.
No, not so much. No. Saint.
Well, I'm kind of following the pack here in that I don't have anything really specific. I think maybe adding to the same kind of things with children that we mentioned will do with animals. In that, like, I understand like a monster battle might happen or something, and I'm even kind of leaning towards occult zookeeper vibes. We'll see how that blends. So
I love that.
but I can't shake it. It's just, yeah, I just that something like that. So like basically, yeah, but like along with Timmy not getting flattened with the truck, let's not flatten Fido. That kind of thing. But if there's a manifestation that happens to be a little fennec fox, and then it's actually murderous, I understand what has to be done.
Right. We don't want any we don't necessarily want any old Yeller moments.
Yeah. It's like we've lived through it already. God.
Janine, thoughts?
I guess I'm echoing the sentiment. For me, I think I'm excited to explore what goes on in this universe, and with the things that we've kind of excluded, I don't really have any worries. I just will, use my tools of the X and O cards in the future if necessary.
Right, absolutely. And that's a good thing to bring up, is the X card. If something comes up that, because we're improvising, and at any time things can go sideways. We improv into an area that we need to, get out of. You just have to say, hey, X card, or send me a message. We will go a different direction as quickly as possible so that we can move from it. You don't have to give any explanation. You just say, hey, not cool. And we go somewhere else. So yeah, keep that in mind as we're going along. I do my best to avoid those moments, but it can happen to anyone. And so that's why we have those tools in place. All right. So now that we have all of that done, yes, this is going to be, I feel, a lot of fun, because I don't usually run traditional Call of Cthulhu games, and I'm planning for this to be a very traditional Call of Cthulhu game. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to start making our characters. And the way that it's set up is I'm going to go through the process, and then we'll go through the steps together. Basically, first thing you do is you get your attributes. Now, there are several ways we can do this. We can roll them, we can use points, or we can do the quickfire method. I'm kind of a fan of giving you the points and you dividing the points between the attributes as you see fit for your occupation, because then you can really tweak the way that you want your character to be. So if everyone's cool with just the point thing, then we won't be doing any rolling. So that can be a little random, and I'd rather you get characters that you really want to play. The next thing we'll do is pick occupations, and occupations will select what skills you're really good at, what your professional skills are. Now, there's a joke, of course, where it's like a professional person has a 50% in something, so they only do it right 50% of the time or something like that. But in reality, what it is sure, you might have a 50%, but you only have to roll against that 50% if you're trying to do it under, why am I blanking?
Duress.
Duress. There we go. If you're stressed out, you're trying to break into a door and there's a creature coming towards you, then you have to roll against your thing. But if you've got time and it's not a big deal, I'm not going to make you roll for anything. if you have that skill. So keep that in mind as you're kind of going through. It's more about doing stuff under duress. The next thing you do after you pick your attributes and your occupation is you'll pick your skills. Your occupation will help tell you what skills, and then you'll also get some bonus skills that are basically like your hobbies. So that's where you might buy extra occults, or you might say you want to get, you and your dad used to go out shooting at, bottles or something, so you know how to use a rifle. The biggest thing to remember is that weapons don't really do much in Call of Cthulhu. They will help you against cultists, and they will help you against some of the smaller things, maybe against a ghoul. Dynamite is a wonderful thing, but whether you have 6 guns or 1 gun, you taste the same to Cthulhu. So just keep those in mind. That having a skill in combat is good for like your human enemies and things like that, but we're not going to be monster hunting or anything like that. Then after we do all that, you get your skills. Then we are going to do kind of the equipment background, just kind of, and bonds between the different players and who is, who likes who's kind of unsure about who, that kind of thing. Bonds really help bring groups together. And we'll also talk about the group dynamic, as in, are you part of a society? There is a society in Miskatonic that might work really well. So that's the overview of everything that we're going to do. And I think we should start with just how many people. And Michelle, do you have an idea of what kind of occupation you're going to do?
Yes, I do.
Do you want to share it?
I would like to be a criminal, a con person. So I am going to be a quote unquote fortune teller who's really, from Jersey or someplace like that. Doing some vaguely Eastern European accent, but I think it might be fun if she actually did have some sensitivities, like psychic sensitivities, but she just sort of ignores it, or right. I don't know.
Or maybe once she realizes everything is real, she starts to have that character arc.
Did you ever see Ghost with Patrick Swayze?
Oh God, it's been years.
Oh yeah.
You're basically Whoopi Goldberg's character.
Oh yeah.
Where she
Molly
starts
girl,
off with no
you
powers.
In danger.
Yes.
Okay, cool. B, do you have? I know that occupations you had just started looking. Do you have any idea?
It's a long list. Like there's zookeeper, saint. I don't know if you're really thinking about that. That's amazing. Like nurse. I could just be a gentleman, a gambler, a federal agent, a craftsperson, an athlete, an antique dealer. You know what? Antique dealer is kind of cool. I'm gonna think on that one. If somebody else wants to go ahead.
Well, that's the thing. When you have so many different things you can choose from, it's like, what do you pick? I like Bible salesman myself. That's always a fun one.
So fun.
Is that in here?
I believe so. I think there's a Bible salesman or something.
Bible salesman and absentee father. He's got 2 jobs.
Well, Janine, what were you thinking of doing?
Obviously, I'm going to be the dilettante. Lots of daddy's money.
Wait,
That's
what does
awesome.
that word mean? Is that like debutante, but like the not?
Yeah, the
version?
moneyed version of that.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's so cool.
Mhm.
Doesn't have a job, but
Doesn't
has a
need
lot of
one.
hobbies. Doesn't need
Mhm.
one.
Independently wealthy.
Yes.
So
Independently wealthy, essentially a socialite.
So we
That's
have
awesome.
a socialite and a fortune-telling con artist.
Obviously, I paid this fortune-telling con artist to.
maybe like it's Rasputin, like she's just with you and you pay her because you think that she's real or something like that. And
Oh my
you
God,
know.
please.
Oh, I did her charts a year ago and everything was 100% accurate.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
nothing was modified later. All
Oh,
completely
no.
right.
That's funny. Okay, Saint, you said zookeeper, which is funny because I
Yeah.
don't think there's a zoo, but we need to put one in now because I'll totally
Yes.
let that
Oh, yeah.
happen.
I mean,
And
Yeah, I
what's
was
in the zoo is the question.
that's what I was thinking because I was tempted by a cultist first. And
Naturally.
yes. And it's interesting because they said these people are focused on earthly magic, not necessarily the mythos that's happening in the game. So I'm like, oh my God, like what would that be like on the side? Like you just find like, oh, it's a unicorn, but who cares? Like, because Cthulhu's here. It's like this was a mistake, but the
Oh
fish.
my God.
I'm not. I don't
The
even know what that
fish.
means, but I want to blend it. But I can also see how that would be just silly. So
Maybe the
oh,
university has brought you some
That's-
odd animals
Maybe a
Yes.
menagerie. There's a word.
yes,
and you've been like alerted to the fact that these are, some weird animals that don't belong here. I don't know.
I'm down. I feel like I could work in like because researcher is a separate thing also.
Uh-huh.
But if it was something like animal researcher, then I can get my occult fix without capitalizing on all the magic for myself.
Oh,
maybe
that's a
maybe
good,
you're with the miskatonic biology department.
Ooh.
that's a good point.
Yes.
Magic.
Could be a professor.
Magic.
There is magic in Call of Cthulhu. It's all bad. Like
Oh.
you can use it, but it's going to affect your resolve. It's going to make it harder and harder for
Nice.
you to deal with reality and all that good stuff. Because it's corrupting. It corrupts you.
I just watched Nightmare Alley, and this is all very like
that
feels
is
like I'm in the movie.
that is a very good. That's kind of like Carnival. It's very much in that kind of gritty noir kind of feel to it. But yeah, so those are all awesome ideas. Why don't we start actually building some of those things? Now, I have my handy dandy book right here. Not a notebook for all you Blue's Clues fans. Our kids watched so much Blue's Clues. It was
Aw,
amazing.
my little brother
It's the
watched
good
like the
stuff.
original with Steve. I like
Yeah.
that.
Aw.
So here's how we're gonna do it. Your attributes at the top of your character sheet. There are 8 of them. If you have any questions, I can kind of go through them real quick. Most of them are self-explanatory. Here, one second. So you have strength, which is obviously how much you can lift, and your size. That one's an older attribute. And basically, it's just your presence and how, how big or tall you are, but it's not necessarily a actual weight thing or anything like that. Janine, did you have a question?
No, my hand was just resting like that, and I realized it, and I was like, put that down.
So funny. Oh my God. I was genuinely going to be like,
That's hilarious.
Janine has a question.
I was like, Janine, do you have
No.
anything? Or
I'm just very relaxed.
That's awesome. Relaxed is good.
Beautiful.
Okay, so con is just constitution. Strength, con, and size are all your physical attributes. And then dex. Appearance is just how good looking you are. And then education is how educated you are. So somebody with a 60 education or 70 education will have a bachelor's degree getting close to a master's degree kind of thing. Your intelligence and your education are separate. People can be very intelligent and not have a ton of education. So, you know,
and vice versa.
right. Exactly. Power is just your overall, I'm going to say mojo. That word comes to mind. So basically your power is what you use when you cast spells. It also tells you how much resolve you have. So if you have a 70 power, you have 70 resolve. Now, what that means is when you roll against any of these things, you're using percentile dice, and you want to roll underneath the number. So if you have a 70 power and I say, hey, I need a power roll, you'll roll your dice and hopefully you'll get under that 70 and you succeed. If you are going up against someone, you will have to roll against them. They might have a better success. You might have a success. If you fail and then they succeed, then they get what they want and you're asked out. I don't
Screwed.
know. You're screwed. And the last thing is for skills in particular, you can push all skills except for combat skills. And what that means is if you push a skill, it means you say, look, I'm going to put extra effort into this. I screwed up the first roll and I'm going to roll again. I'm going to push the skill. If you fail that though, something terrible happens, like really bad. Usually like if you're running from something or you're trying to climb up a wall, you might fall off of it. Something always, catastrophic happens. But if you want to take that second shot at it, you can. So attributes, you get 460 points to divide between all 8 attributes. They can be from 15 points, which I really don't recommend for any particular attribute because that is a surefire way to die, to 90. Okay. The best thing to do if you have your PDFs open is to check out your occupation and see what, because your occupation will literally say like, we'll say like occupation skills, education ×2 plus dex ×2. And what that means is that those attribute points you put in are the points you're going to get to put into your skills for that particular job, if that makes sense. So check your occupation first and then figure out what your occupation point skills are. And then those are the skills that you're going to want to put the most points in. The cap is 90, but, and if you decide to cap your power at 90 or whatever, just know there's ways for me to get around that.
You have 460 total?
And then you divide them between the 8 skills. So if you all want to start doing that now, you can.
Okay.
Nice. Obviously very educated, because what else am I going to do?
Well, yeah, boarding school and then finishing school, or 1930s.
The best education that anyone can get, because we don't do sexism here.
Not in this world.
Nope. Anybody can do anything in 1932.
Can everybody retell me what they are again? Because I'm not set on what I want, because I really want to be the one that can balance out whatever we have. So we have a con,
a grifter,
an artist, yeah.
Yep. Did you decide on zoologist?
I
or
guess
researcher.
I'm looking at the researcher. I'm guessing that is kind of
okay. We got brainy people, and then our dilettante. Are you brainy? Do you use your intelligence?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, so I'm gonna not have a lot of brains, so I'm set on that.
I think we definitely were gonna need some brawn, if anything.
Yeah. So with that being said, let me take a look at this list again. Acrobat.
Ooh.
That's fun.
Well, if we're going, one thing that I was actually thinking is if you all are like, okay, so we have a dilettante, we were throwing around the idea of possibly having animals involved, like some kind of circus or carnival. We could easily make it like a carnival situation where Saint is part of you're all part of a carnival.
Yeah,
and
I'm
you
like the
could take
cryptid
on,
handler or
right?
something.
Yeah,
Yes.
you could all take something as a profession. Now, just so you know, you could be a researcher and still be the person that's selling tickets. So, if B wanted to be a strong person, they could, and then they could have a second occupation on top of that. They would just throw in whatever carnival thing that they had.
Okay.
And by the way, the carnival thing for our viewers, this is why you have 0 sessions, because you come up with ideas together like that. And then, if everybody's on board, it's cool. And
Right.
I didn't think about a carnival when we said all this. So
Our buy-in is that much more in because, we're contributing together.
absolutely.
Yeah.
Okay, so either acrobat or stuntman.
Ooh.
Right? Stuntman would just be really cool. Let me take a look at what that one
Be
is, because
fun.
that's what my heart is saying right now.
Okay.
And you said size is just overall like your actual size, or
Yeah,
How much?
it's your actual size. Like if you're super petite and small, shorter, then your size might be, on the smaller side.
I'm gonna pretend that I'm not the size that I am IRL because this is fantasy, and
Yeah.
Yeah, don't let your dreams stay dreams here.
Don't fall down that rabbit hole of using attributes in a game to stat yourself out. It's never a good thing.
I mean, honestly, 65 education might be a little high for me as a person, as Janine. So who knows? Yeah, let's make me a size that I can not look for extra long pants, which they don't even make anymore.
It always reminds me of that episode of The Simpsons where that really tall guy's all like, "This is the only car I can afford. Are you making fun?" And he's like 8 feet
tiny.
tall.
Yes.
And he's got a little car.
Just doing calculations to see that I.
Oh yeah,
up
I'll have to have a
460.
calculator
Yeah.
out.
I just
Oh, yeah.
brought that up.
Calculators are your friend. So.
I think I missed this, or my brain just didn't properly register it. Okay, so we're doing the investigator skills. That's where we have the 460 points.
No, that's for your attributes.
Oh, really?
So your
I did hear that.
characteristics.
Yeah, that's the first thing we're doing is you separate all of your those 460.
Damn. Okay.
Anything between 15 to 90%. So you can pick something if you're an acrobat and you're like, hey, I need my dex to be a 90. Put 90 in it and then divide everything else, or put 75. Whatever makes you feel comfortable.
Okay, thank you.
I'm noticing under the zoologist one, it's saying, it's a suggestion, I realize this, but they're saying focus on one particular breed of animal. So, but I mean, it just says often the zoo, and there's, it's not zoologist. I just started making that up. It's zookeeper. So I guess it's just a different vibe than a zoologist.
That
That is
literally-
so funny.
That literally
So
could be your carnival stage name, the zookeeper.
the zoo. I think it would be cool. Like I'm picturing that we have a lot of fake cryptid animals, especially if con artistry is involved in the carnival, right? But
Yeah.
then maybe there's like one or two that's like I think these are real, like, or something like that. I don't know
Right,
if
yeah.
that fits the vibe, but
Absolutely. Like you find something in the woods and you're like, I think is this a cat?
yeah.
Or it's breathing fire. What? No.
Mhm.
Run away.
Yes. Or I find an egg or something. And I'm like, this is probably a chicken. I'm like, oh my God, it's got tentacles.
Probably a chicken.
It's probably a chicken. Don't worry about that so much. Remember, one thing that I haven't said, but that I say constantly, we are a story-heavy, rules-light game. We don't try to strive to go for every single thing printed in the book because that's mind-numbing. We just want to have fun and play the game. So if we miss something and you know we've missed something, just let it slide because we are. That's what we're going to do. We're totally going to let it slide. So if it says like in the book, you should focus on one animal, you don't have to do that. You can focus on other things like under biology or sciences, I guess, is where you would, do that.
Thank you.
That does remind me. There was a quick question in chat from Bowman. Are we using the luck spending mechanic?
Oh, yeah, good point. Yes, we are. We will be using the luck spending mechanic because I like it. Basically, you'll all be rolling your luck. That is one thing we will be rolling. That will be the only thing we'll be rolling. And you get a certain amount of points. So let's say you get 60 luck points. If you are rolling against a skill, let's say, B's character is trying to do a flip and they want to like flip onto the top of a building or something like that, and they biff their roll, then suddenly they go, well, you know what? I'm going to spend some of my luck because I was only 5 points away. They spend 5 points of their luck, and then their luck will slowly go down as the game goes on. So there are ways to refresh it, usually through good role play and things like that. And yeah, so it's a fun mechanic. We use it in the podcast all the time. And that's the other thing. We have a podcast. 12-Sided Story has like literally 4 years worth of back catalog of podcast. This might be new for us, but we've been a group for a very long time. So make sure you check out those things as well. So yeah, but yeah, definitely luck. Bowman is right to bring that up. Thank you very much, sir. All right. I love that zealot is an occupation.
Right? Who's paying you to be a zealot? Although I guess if you work for some churches.
A church or an occult organization. Who knows?
Oh my God, I just did so much math.
Hey, I'm proud of you.
So much math.
My dead silence over here. I'm like, carry the one.
See, what would be funny is if you had an abacus and you just were doing this on it.
Click. I got my attributes set. I just kind of went with it.
Awesome.
I did what my heart wanted me to do, not what my brain.
Follow your heart and.
I am like
doing
really hot, obviously. With an 85.
Oh wow!
Yeah, I mean, come on.
What did you
You're
put in?
and everything?
Hot.
Exactly.
Oh, there's Janine again.
There she is.
They played that fucking song like 12 times in that movie. They got their money's worth on that so they married an axe murderer. They used that song like 12 times in an hour and a half.
They did. It was like
every
there were only 2 songs I think in that entire film.
Yeah.
Oh wow.
And one of them was "There She Goes."
Yeah.
All over the place.
It was ridiculous. It really was. All right, Saint, how you doing?
Oh, I still I've only spent 320 points.
That's
gotta
good.
put
I
those
mean,
last
you've got
few in.
460. You're doing fine.
I'm just like slapping numbers in. We can tweak these.
You
if
can
needed,
tweak
right?
stuff. I'm not
Okay.
going to. You put it down on. That's all you get to do.
It's like
Game over.
permanent.
It's permanent. If it's not on your character sheet, you
I
don't
wrote it
have
on my screen in the Sharpie.
No.
Okay. Well, so far it looks like I'm going to be kind of even keeled again, because that's what I do is default, and then I just change it later. I'm just
so
sorry
funny.
the magic's not here. But yeah, I'm thinking like one thing I should pay attention to that might not be typical is my strength, because I'm thinking this is a not professional standard location, so I'm probably rustling and tussling with these animals a lot.
Rustling and tussling. I like that.
I didn't even mean to say rustling. I don't know what came out, but yes,
We are
I was
fine
thinking-
with that word. That works perfectly.
Yeah, it defines what you're doing.
You want to
Rustling, tussling.
Tussling.
So how does that,
yeah.
is everybody pretty much done? Do you need a few more minutes, Saint, or
Let me just make sure the math is correct here.
I'm going to be checking to make sure that math is correct.
With a red marker, I'll tell you
Yep.
what.
We will make sure all maths are right.
Oh my god, we're having flashbacks.
So did anybody put 90 in anything?
I just slapped down 90 in my power to get rid of points.
Okay.
Which I'm like, how so? And power is the mojo.
Yeah,
so-
power is your ability to cast spells comes from that, and also your resolve comes from that as well.
Okay.
So
All right.
if you have
Yeah.
like a 15 resolve, you're gonna have like 2 sessions, and then you'll have to re-roll a character up.
What was APP again? I feel like I should have just looked that up instead of
Appearance.
Oh yeah, I didn't care about that. Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
That's my dumb stat.
Yeah.
I look like a wreck because I'm a stuntman.
That's fair.
It's funny because like they redid 7th edition 5 years ago, and they could have, in my opinion, gotten rid of both size and appearance pretty easily.
Yeah.
You know, those aren't really that you can tell those are stats from 40 years ago. And
Yeah.
Yeah.
you know,
Just,
but I think
charisma. Put it in a charisma.
Yeah,
Well,
that's
right.
what.
Or charm, or
yeah, Dungeons and Dragons, you know, I mean, did the same thing, and they put out comeliness and Unearthed Arcana for 1st edition, and then they got rid of it like within a year. It was gone.
Comeliness.
Yeah.
Oh gosh.
So charisma and comeliness. Yeah.
My lord.
All right. So is
All
everybody ready to move to the next section?
Yes.
Yup.
Excellent. So this is going to be where you're going to look up your occupation, and your occupation is going to tell you some important stuff. It will tell you your occupation skill points. So animal trainer, I'm just going to use that as an example. It says occupation skill points, education times 2, more math. So you take your education, you times it by 2. And then it says plus power or appearance times 2, one or the other. So yeah, so you pick one and then you times that by 2. So whatever your occupation is, it'll tell you what your skill points are. It will also tell you your credit rating. I don't use credit rating very often just because we're in the middle of stories and it's not a home game where, you know, you might have a whole, off season kind of thing where you're working a job and getting money and whatever. But it does give you a baseline. Instead of saying, well, I've got $300 in my pocket, you can roll against your credit rating and see if you're able to deal with that kind of thing. So, and then after that, it will tell you the skills that are important to that particular occupation. Again, these are templates. So if a skill doesn't fit what you're thinking, then change it out. Use something else. Do something that fits your character. So does that make any sense? Does anything I say
Ever make sense?
ever make
Are
any
we answering this question honestly?
Janine, I
It's-
appreciate you. I do. So if you have any questions, let me know, but go ahead and start. And what you want to do is you want to get your total points from your occupation skills, and then you divide those between the occupation skills that are listed in the book. So first you figure out how many the
or
pool.
others that you might want, or
No, because there's a second part where you get points for hobbies and things like that. These are specifically for your skill points for your occupation, for your job. So we'll do the hobby points next after that.
So are some of them gonna say or? So mine says education ×2 and appearance ×2.
Right, correct. So what you'll do is you'll times your education ×2, then your appearance ×2, then you'll add them together, and then you'll use that as your pool points for all of your occupation skills. Oh, and
PEMDAS, man, PEMDAS.
Seriously, that's what I'm at right now.
Bless you.
Bless you. Bed mass over here for any Canadians.
Gesundheit.
Danke.
What did you say, B?
Bed mass. I don't know if that's what was in French or in English, but that was what I learned to figure out like the brackets and like the what goes first.
Oh,
From
okay.
math.
I thought you meant to say bless you. You said
Yeah,
bed mass.
same.
I'm like,
There's so many things happening.
what a weird.
Dang.
Bed mass.
What does that
What does that
mean?
mean?
It could mean both. I don't see why not.
You know, two things can be true.
That's our new thing. Bed mess.
Bed mass.
Dear Father, thank you for coming to my bed mass. Blessed be your name.
So just to like beat the topic a little. So let's say my education was 15 and it's like education ×2. Therefore I got 30 points there. And then I got, right?
Right, correct.
Okay, fabulous. I am following. Okay, also in my next question. Mine is literally education and then it's strength or dex.
You get to pick which one.
My education is poop. Do I have to pick that one or is that kind of the point?
Yeah, you have to pick that one and then whatever the second one is. Now, if you want to move something around for your stats, that's the best way to do it.
Okay, because I dumped stat in my education. I'm like, I didn't go to school. I just learned how to drive a car into walls.
Brum brum.
Crash. Okay, let's do some math again. Let's backtrack.
I have to admit that I don't know why I'm multiplying my points.
Oh no, because
why
you're getting your pool, you're getting your skill pool points basically. So what does you're doing zookeeper? What are you doing?
Yeah,
Saint?
that kind of vein. So all of them all just list education ×4. So
Okay, so you times your education.
Oh my god,
by
×4?
yes.
Damn, that is a specialized class.
Then
Yeah,
you take whatever that number is and you divide it between the skills that are in that occupation.
And now it makes sense. Thank you. Only
No
need to say
problem.
it 5 times.
Hey,
No, seriously,
I'm
I
right
asked
there
3
with
times.
you. Yeah, no, I reread things constantly.
Oh,
It took me
goodness.
literally a year to figure out that the caterpillar was just going to keep eating.
Oh my god. Like, what is he doing?
Why doesn't he stop?
My question. So I'm looking here at firearms and it says 25%. What are these percentages that are attached to
So those are base. Those are the base percentages per skill. Thank you for bringing this up. You add your points on top of that. So if you want that at 50%,
like if it says, it says 10% in something,
right,
everyone gets that 10%.
Nice.
But if you want it up to 50%, you need to add 40 points to it.
right. So you add whatever points you want onto it to get it to the level you want. Thank you for bringing that up, by the way. I had forgotten about it.
All right, you're welcome. Because I was like, what?
What is this and why is it here?
What's this? What's this?
Suddenly becomes Nightmare Before Christmas.
Exactly.
Okay, I've got 280 points to work with. All right. We are
That's
off
not
to the
bad.
races.
Not
Yeah.
bad at all.
I still don't want to put a lot of points in my education because like I really do want to play the part that like I think
Head
I
empty, muscle big.
exactly. I just want to
Fun.
impress the ladies with how cool I can jump over this wall of
Mhm.
fire.
The coolest.
That's funny. Wall of fire jumping.
Right?
That's a skill. And you know what? Pays the bills.
We don't talk about how tall the wall is.
It's this big dramatic production, and there's this little tiny like stick of matches like on fire, and you just step over it.
Step over it. The crowd goes wild. All right. So, and then within the amount of points that we can add to our investigator skills, is there a maximum or a minimum?
That's a good question. I believe that
Like I couldn't add 260 points into one thing and be done with it.
right. No. You're really good at that one thing.
Only
my
one
God.
thing.
We just trot you out for the one event.
Yes. Put me back in the car when I'm not useful.
Here comes B. They're gonna just blow this up right now.
Yes. They have a hard time walking though. There's no skills in that. Gotta guide them.
Oh my God, this math is getting me again.
Ah.
I have brought you all here for math, and that is it.
Tricked us.
So usually, I believe the cap is 80% for a particular skill, and that's what I'm going to say, 80%. So 80% is the highest that you should have any particular skill.
Okay.
And then, of course, it can go up during the game to higher than 80%. It's just starting out.
Okay, so let's bring out the old calculator. So that minus
Yep.
that.
By the way, I want to thank all of our viewers for joining us on our first zero session right now. Thank you so much for watching the insanity as we come up with what characters we will all be playing.
I just feel like watching Grandma, 7 years ago use FaceTime for the first time. Like,
Yes.
But how do I turn it on?
Yeah.
Grandma, it's already on.
is that you?
Is your computer plugged in?
Have you tried turning it off and turning it back on again?
again.
Okay. Well, where am I at?
So just so you all know, we've blown through an hour already.
What?
That feels right.
Yeah.
Character creation is serious, y'all.
It is fun though.
Yeah, no, I'm just saying that I'm having so much fun. I didn't even realize how much time had gone by.
I love that. Electrical repair. All right, I'm gonna be good at that.
Oh, and that's the other thing. I totally look at, you're going to all send me your character sheets, and I'm going to look at all your skills and set things up so that you can use said skills. So,
Okay.
if you really don't want to have something happen, don't take a skill in it.
All right.
Oh.
I mean, I'm not saying it's not going to happen. It probably will, but you're adding to the likelihood of there being electrical problems sometimes.
Excellent. And I'm gonna have to add that in since it doesn't exist on its own. That's
So,
okay.
Oh yeah,
ride
go ahead.
is ride like horseback riding or
Yeah, like
Yeah.
there are motorcycles at this time.
Yeah,
Yes.
but maybe you're an equestrian.
Oh, what?
Equestrian? The horse people?
No, I voted
Not
for Roosevelt.
Centaurs. Centaurs did not vote for Roosevelt. And that's known.
That's just
That's
a
just a
fact.
fact.
It's a fact.
Oh my goodness.
They were totally bull mooses, which was a different Roosevelt. Okay, I gotta. All right.
Okay, I got fighting.
Oh, damn it.
So horse, donkeys, mules are all riding. Oh, and that's another thing. Science, crafts, knowledge. Those are all things that you write in whatever thing you're knowledgeable about, or what science, like Saint might know a lot about biology or some other, natural history or something like that. So when she sees a fire-breathing cat, she knows that it's wrong.
Indeed.
Something's a little off there.
Something's a little,
a touch.
Not supposed to happen.
Yeah. Bowman's right.
She's
Night
all
gaunts
looking up
could
in a
be
book.
right at
Are
road
cats
2.
supposed to breathe fire?
This doesn't seem right to me. That's funny. So I love, because I have the rules set up that when you enter into chat to put a message, the rules will come up. And it's like I own the channel, but it's still, I know the rules.
Right? I made the rules.
Just make sure that you know.
I'm going to take drive automobile because I'm not super interested in riding a horse.
What about a mule or a donkey?
I don't see a lot of stunts happening with like donkeys unless I'm being kicked by one.
What about saving a horse and
Or-
riding a cow?
Or
Yes.
as Bowman says, Biakis and night gaunts.
Yeah. Yeah.
Woo!
Very true. It's funny because night gaunts. Okay. So the story that night gaunts come from, I believe it's Ralph Carter, who's this dreamer who goes to the dreamlands, and he runs into night gaunts, and one of their attacks is tickling. It's this whole thing. It's like you read it and you're like, Lovecraft, did we have a thing here? Is this
Do we have to talk about this?
is this a, I'm not kink shaming.
Alluding,
Not
right?
kink shaming. If this is your thing, cool. But tickling, that was their thing. They would grab you. Yeah, I'm not kidding at all.
That's so wild.
That's
Yeah.
so weird.
Yeah. You listen and he goes, and then the night gaunt tickled him. And I'm like, okay.
Oh my goodness.
Wow.
He did go on and on about tickling in his stories.
Learning more and more about the man.
Mhm.
Most of it we
I'm
don't want to
still-
know.
Yeah,
Right?
so that's I'm gonna
Yes.
try to learn less. I was gonna say something about his cat, but you know what?
Yeah,
Yeah.
no. Pass on the cat as well.
If you don't know, well,
Wikipedia.
Mhm.
also count yourself lucky.
Mhm.
Well, the way that I look at it, because you talk about like, okay, what do you take from certain content? There is really horrible content, obviously, content creators that are terrible. Right now, we keep seeing Harry Potter. What's her name? Why am I blanking?
JK.
Rowling.
Yeah.
JK.
So she keeps coming up as this like, evil turf that she is. But so you have to ask yourself, like, do I watch these movies or do I interact with these things? If you watch or buy a book, you're sending money to her. But at the same time, there are a lot of people involved who are not transphobic idiots. And so you have to always balance that kind of thing. But the one thing about Lovecraft that's great is that he died without any money. So he didn't get any money from anybody. His family's not getting any money from any of this. And we can literally ignore every single horrible thing that was built into a lot of the stories. And it wasn't, it just wasn't racism. It was also elitism. There was a lot of like, look at this podunk person who can't, slack-jawed yokel kind of thing.
And just classism, like the way he talks
classism.
about working class people is like, wow.
So Providence Decayed is kind of a little bit of play because he said, I am Providence, because he was so proud of being from Providence. So that's my kind of play on, the whole Lovecraft thing. But there's a lot of things that he made up that are fun and that are kind of cool and that I love stealing and using for fun. But yeah, you always have to be cognizant of the content that you're getting involved in and where your boundaries are. Some people might think, oh, I absolutely can't deal. I have a friend that cannot watch any movies at all with Mel Gibson, and I totally get it. We all make those choices.
There's certain things that you can tolerate and certain things that you can't.
Right.
And you just have to make those decisions on a case-by-case basis.
In my opinion, definitely. So now that that's all out of the way, let's get back to the fun part of skills. How's everyone doing with math?
Still going.
I mean, I'm sure there's some things that I'm going to want to shift around later a little bit.
Yeah, you can. And
yeah.
if you're like, okay, the only caveat I will put to this is please, please, please. And I'm not pointing fingers at every single player I've ever played with, but
I am. So,
but I am. Get your character ready for the next game, not 5 minutes before the game. Every player does this. You might say,
God.
no, I don't.
I'm very called out here.
But
no, I do it almost intentionally at this point. I've never prepared a character before 5 minutes before the game. What?
Yeah.
What?
How dare you? I prepare months in advance.
Literally, obviously, Michelle lives in the house with me. And I'm like, you need to read this, like just randomly throughout the week. Oh yeah, I'll get to it. Yeah,
oh my God.
It'll happen.
Never gets to it. Yes, you're me. Oh my gosh.
I do know that Saint is good at looking up stuff, though. I do know that.
We got one good player then.
Yeah.
I wasn't going to say anything.
Humble.
Saint is good. I will give her props on that. So, yeah. Actually, what I'm thinking, because this is actually a good spot for us to take a very small break, the bio break real quick, and then come back. So why don't we do this? Is everybody's kind of got skills where they kind of want them, have an idea.
Yeah.
Hey, we're back. Hello, everybody.
Howdy.
We just got done finishing up our part of our character creation. We've done our attributes, we've done our occupations, and we've done our occupation skills. So let's recap what those things are really quick before moving on to our personal skills and then our backgrounds and everything else. And let's start with the wonderful Saint.
All right. So I've landed on kind of zookeeper with a sort of research background within this carnival frame world we have. So I still kept it kind of evenly split on the characteristics. I went with like 60 all across the top row: strength, dex, intelligent, or idea. I just read that as idea. Yeah, I've been saying intelligence. I've just never read it. Sorry.
It's both.
It's actually both. Whenever I say, give me an idea roll, it's your intelligence or whatever. So you're absolutely right either way.
It's just like, oh, wow, when you actually read, you get information.
The more you know.
Hello. So I just kept it even across that row at 60. And then I kind of lowered it for constitution, appearance. I figured I'd have a couple scars or something, which personally I would find attractive, but
yeah, no,
I'm gonna write
people
that
dig
into
scars.
the whole thing.
You are a zookeeper. Like, who knows what you've dealt with? It shows that you've got that experience.
Yeah,
I'm gonna have some sort of damage for sure.
Scars are stories.
Bird peckings.
Bird pecking. I got this during the last avian attack of 1802.
Oh my god, I'm picturing the incident. I'm a little I put power at 65 because I'm intrigued by it. I'm a little petite lady, size at 40, and then education is 70. So lots of that research background will be present. And then investigator skills, I haven't really not married to all of them yet, but what was kind of suggested was animal handling, which counts as an art or a craft, charm and persuade, which makes sense actually. First aid, dodge, definitely.
Dodge
Yeah.
is important.
Super
Good to
important. And my gosh, my eyes are glazing over. What? Oh, science. Science, and they put it as something else. I listed as biology. Biology.
Biology.
I know what that is. Don't question that. Oh, and natural world, which also makes sense. So, yeah, kind of animal facing charismatic, probably with humans not so much. And then I'm wily.
Awesome. That sounds great. B, what did you land on?
All right. Well, in the complete opposite corner, we have the stuntman. Bedmass.
Oh no, now I'll never know the truth.
This is a mystery-based game, so it's just spitting.
Mm-hmm.
I got strength at 90, dex at 90, int at 25 because I don't have ideas. Con at 60 because I'd always just seem I gotta be hardy. Appearance at 30 because I think like I got muscle, but maybe like I just don't look. I'm not a looker, you know? If you look at my body, it's like, wow, really, really good. And then you zoom in on their face and it's like, you've really been through a lot, huh? Power at 80 because I just feel like, I don't know, power, presence, that's cool. Size is even smaller than Saint. I decided that I'm a manlet. And I mean that in like a positive sense. Like I am
A
short king. Yes.
There you go.
That's the term. Thank you.
A short king works.
A manlet.
That's the opposite of a short king.
Okay, yeah, that's not.
That's like
a sandlet
saying,
is a sandlet, but a manlet is a meal.
It's a meal.
a manlet to man is steakums to beefcake.
Okay, so it's just real. I'm like 5'2", but like abs for days, biceps for years. You know, it's very confusing. And then education 50. I wanted that to be lower, but I also wanted more stats to work with. And I'm trying to I think I finished high school. Maybe my parents had ambitions that I was going to become an oral hygienist or a dentist, you know, that seems appropriate. But I had a passion for crashing into things. And when you got a passion for crashing, school isn't a priority. So if we move down to my investigator skills, this will really detail really what this short king is about. We got climb at 15, dodge at 35, drive at 40, because I really do think that like his backstory has to do with stealing cars and just riding them into walls and surviving. Broken bones, cut, scars. Like maybe he's missing some of his nose. One of his eyes are a little milky. Something went in once, and it's fine now. Most of his vision. He's only 25 too. No, I haven't decided that. Electric. Mm-hmm.
I was going to say in the 1930s, 25 is like 60 to us, so, or something. Especially if you're running proto motorcycles into walls, yes. Like a proto Evel Knievel.
Also, I realized, so because I did take electrical repair, I think that my parents wanted me to be an electrician, and so I have some of that education, but that wasn't the life for me. I think I got shocked one too many times that it really reminded me that, again, I had a passion for crashing.
How many stunt people does it take to change a light bulb?
Just me. Fighting 35, firearms 10, first aid, intimidate, jump, Mechanical repair seemed appropriate if I gotta fix my own shit every now and then. Navigate, I don't know how useful that's gonna be, but I just I feel like I know how to navigate. I don't know. I'll figure out how to justify that one. I got some piloting skills, some swimming skills, because maybe in this carnival, there's like, I got to swim in a tank sometimes with a shark that we have named like Sammy the Shark. Truly, they have no teeth, but like I still have to, it's part of the performance. And then finally, I got some points in throw.
Nice. That's.
I told you were gonna learn.
Yeah, this is a good character. I like this character. All right, so Michelle, what did you land on?
Okay, well, I am a con artist who in the carnival is the fortune teller. And so, of course, she, tells people pretty much what they want to hear. She wanted to become an actress, but she realized unless you get into the top tier, you're stuck as a chorus girl, and and then when you're not cute anymore, you hit the bricks. Okay. So she realized she could make a lot more money just telling people what they wanted to hear. So that's what she does. And so I have a praise.
Do you have a specialty? I'm so sorry. Like, is it tarot reading? Is it talking to like the dead family members? Is it palm reading? Is it like orb stuff reading?
Yes.
Crystal ball. Okay. Yeah.
Because especially back then, they would have done all of it. The seance is where the table lifts and the whole thing.
Yes. Okay.
And so appraise. I've got my art and craft is acting, charm, fast talk, law, listen, because I got to know when to run from the law, right? Listen, psychology, and sleight of hand.
That's all awesome.
That's not a lot. So you've got a lot of points into what you have, though.
Right. I poured all my points into that. And then when we get that other set of points, then I'll branch out into some other things. But those are the ones I wanted to, well,
nice.
Those are the ones the book told me to focus on. But
but the
also
personal ones are,
yeah.
So Harry Houdini would not think that you were legit at all.
He didn't think anyone was legit.
Yeah, pretty much. So Janine, what did we land on?
Excuse me. So I will be playing the dilettante, daddy's money, very much the like sweet, dutiful child at home, but kind of playing the part in public society as my parents wish allows me to do whatever I want in my private life. So not very strong, small, on the smaller side, because I wanted to have a character who doesn't look exactly like me for once. So I will be able to, I won't have to duck under very many trees. So my size is 30. Okay. And my strength is 45, which is a little bit more than that. So I've got a little bit of training behind using my body weight for my mass for my advantage. Mm-hmm. Constitution is also kind of breaking with the way that I look with sitting at 60, because I can drink with the best of them. And yeah, just kind of hardier than you would expect from someone of that size. Dexterity, kind of just not quite clumsy, but could trip over, a crack in the sidewalk.
I love me a clumsy character. They're always the funnest.
Yeah, about that. So that's 45. And then my appearance, obviously, I have been dodging suitors left and right. 85. Yeah, the hottest woman looker that you have, and I'm an heiress, so I just have my pick. Education 65. My parents sent me away to boarding school in France.
Your servants were great parents. Your maids
Yeah.
were great parents.
Absolutely. And yet head empty, really hot. Intelligence is 50. And then
well,
my
50's
power
average.
Yeah, 50's average.
Yeah, 50's fine.
And then my power is 70.
Okay. It seems like all of you, like, I don't think anyone pegged the 90% on the power, so.
No.
So that's good.
I thought about it.
Yeah. Those all sound like great characters, and let's move on to the next and final part with the skills, which is your personal skills. Like, what are things that you want to spend points on? You take your intelligence, you times it by 2, and then that is your pool points for your individual skills. And you can divide them up any way that you like among the skills. So go ahead and do that. Figure out what things you want to do. If you want to be more into the occult and that's not part of your occupation, you can do that. Oh, there's one skill that you will not have any points in called Cthulhu Mythos. Those are bad skills to have, skill points to have.
Okay.
Because for every Cthulhu Mythos point you have, it reduces your resolve by 1 or by however many points that you have. So if you have 10, your resolve automatically goes down to 10. It represents your knowledge of the horrible things that lurk out there in the darkness and your understanding of those things. So don't put any points into that. So, just so you know. Everything else, free game. Go for it.
Cool.
So wait, where are we pulling these points from?
Take your intelligence, times it by 2, and that's your pool for these points.
Intelligence times 2.
Okay, it's not the worst, but not the best.
I mean, it gives you an opportunity to like just kind of fill some stuff out.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
Nope. I am a very straightforward heiress. No, just kidding.
It's going to be fun to go into the backgrounds of all these characters and bring them together into the carnival.
Yeah.
Especially the heiress. It's like, did the heiress and the grifter run away from father for some reason, or you know, with the circus, as it were, or whatever.
Thinking part owner.
I live.
And that's whatever you do with your personal life kind of thing.
Right. Absolutely.
True story. My grandfather, his father's family was very wealthy in Cuba, and when he ran away and joined the circus, they made him drop, because his last name was Ponce de Leon. They made him drop de Leon from his last name because they didn't want shame brought onto the family name.
Oh my gosh!
In the circus.
Damn.
So he just went by Ponce. Yeah.
What year was that?
Oh God, it's had to be 1900, 1902, something like that. Yeah.
That's really cool.
Maybe a little later. I don't know. Probably maybe 1910.
Just let me know when you're done picking those. And again, if it's something that you're not sure, you want a little time, you can always wait until 5 minutes before the first episode next week.
Absolutely.
Definitely not settled on these, but I've picked a few.
Okay. I just upped some of my existing ones.
I think that's where I'm at too with it.
All right. Yeah, you can up stuff or, figure out what works.
I mean, my credit rating is phenomenal, so.
Yeah. Your credit rating is probably pretty good.
So for credit rating, do you have to pour points into that, or do
It's
you
what
roll
they
for
give
that?
you. No, it's a part of your occupation. It's at the very. It's
Yeah,
like
it gave me a range, so I just pick a number.
I'm sure there's a more official way to do it, but if you want to put the full amount of whatever that range is, I'm fine with
Sure.
Nice.
Okay.
that. I'm not gonna.
I'll take it.
I'm not gonna lose sleep over that.
I know. In all my years of playing Call of Cthulhu, I have only ever used credit rating once,
Damn.
and that was Eugenia
Yeah,
in Otherworld London.
yeah, I remember that. You had to credit rating someone to death.
Yeah, because well, the bank was going to freeze her assets, and she pulled a. My family's been banking here since 1750.
Oh my goodness.
She made the roll too.
Yep.
So how are we doing on our intelligence? In our personal skill points?
All done.
All
I'm
right.
trying to attribute 20 more, but you know, maybe. Yeah, I know where I'm going to put it. There we go. Okay.
Saint, how are you doing?
I've just stopped for now.
Okay.
but I
I
have
feel
the
like
categories.
There's going to be so much more math and shuffling later. It's like, oh shit, where did
Is
I
it-
add
oh,
what?
oh,
Yeah,
shit.
you can
Well,
math and shuffle stuff later. That's totally
Yeah.
fine.
Yeah.
yeah. I know which skills though. If you'd like us to report those, I know which ones I'm gonna add.
If you
some
can just
in.
put little X's next to them and then put the,
Yeah. Yeah, that's what I did. I just checked them all. So I'm like, okay, I know these.
Okay, so let us talk about. I don't care about equipment. We're not going to get into all that. That's not really a thing I'm worried about. If someone's like, "Hey, I really want a firearm for X, Y, and Z reason or whatever," you can easily get a pistol. That's not a hardship, or is something bigger if you want a rifle or whatever. Just mark it down on your character sheet at some point. But you've got the normal things. Now, someone like Janine might have better things, like she might have a car. B, they would have a small trailer. I don't know. It just depends on what their credit rating is. But you can make those decisions dependent on how much credit rating you have, and go from there. You don't need to worry about actual dollar amounts or anything.
Okay.
So let's talk about backgrounds and bonds and all of that stuff. This is where the story really kind of comes together and how we're all going to be interacting. So we decided that we were going to do kind of a carnival kind of thing where maybe you were all part of the carnival in some capacity. We can figure out what that is. Maybe Janine's character is an investor. Maybe Michelle's character has put money or has attached herself as a, spiritualist.
Sideshow.
Or something like that, a card reader or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
So kind of decide where you fit within the context of this, and what is our carnival about? Has it Arkham, Innsmouth, Kingsport, Dunwich? These are all places that are decaying, that are no longer centers of activity, but our little carnival has found its way to Arkham and has set up for a season or maybe two, depending on what's going on. I guess the question is how did we get to Arkham? Are we running from something? Is there something that happened that caused us to go to some place that's off the circuit, to this little podunk town in New England? Or things like that. Basically, how, what is the reason for us being in Arkham, and are we still hopeful that we're ever going to leave, or do we feel like we're here and we're trapped? So go ahead. Anybody wants to jump in, go for it.
The obvious, like the easiest, which we definitely don't have to go with, would be that like we like if we're running, it's because like the magic that's happening here is just like what's that word when it's like a bad thing within religion?
Heresy?
Blasphemous. Yeah, heretical. Both of those.
Mm.
And like not all the towns that we visit have that same belief. It's just like there's been some really like hyper religious ones, and again, this is not the route that we have to take, and we just happen to find sanctuary within this town. So like we could leave, but like right now, is it really worth it? Is it worth the risk? Do we want to wait until the zealotry dies down? I kind of like the idea that maybe it's not even like a religion that like we as like B and everybody else are familiar with. It's something that's unique to this area.
Something drew you to this area, in my understanding, or something chased you to this area.
Yeah.
Y'all, what do you think?
I think maybe drew, partially because there's a lot of religious fervor because it's the start of the Great Depression, and there was a huge spike in religious, people going back to religion because they felt the sin that we did in the 20s was what resulted in the Great Depression.
Oh my gosh.
So no, seriously.
Happens
so
every time.
a lot of people turn to religion. And so so maybe we're looking at an old circuit that we hadn't done, the circuses used to do and the carnivals used to do.
Ooh.
But they haven't done it in a long time, so we're kind of looking at it as maybe an untapped market, like
reviving the or seeing if there's a market, like you said, for reviving the old carnival ways.
You were drawn here because a carnival has to do a specific route throughout the United States that draws a specific symbol. And this is the last stop on that. So by finishing the symbol, the spell has been cast, but you don't know anything about the spell or that it's been cast yet.
Oh my goodness.
Cool.
Do people like that idea?
Yeah,
that could be cool.
All right, so that's probably one of the reasons you were drawn here, and now you feel like, what's going to happen next, the uneasiness of it all.
One of my ideas that I had for it was perhaps the town has the entire town has put together this fund to pay you to stay here for, an additional season or however long y'all have been here at this point. We've been here at this point. And you're just contractually obligated, and you don't really understand, like no one actually comes anymore, but you're bound by this contract to these people, and you don't know why they're keeping you here if no one comes.
Awesome. Yeah. I guess my question for you, Janine, is did you come with the carnival? Are you part of the carnival, or are you an Arcanite? There's a word. Are you from Arkham? Are you part of Mesotonic U, or did you arrive with the rest of them? Have you invested into the...
I think my connection would be directly to Miskatonic U, and it would be like, my father's on the board.
Okay. Cool. So, and you've just been hanging out at the carnival for a while now then?
Yeah, to the point of like, I really enjoyed it, and it's kind of maybe I could be a hawker or something here. It's just like my weekend get out of the house kind of gig in secret.
Yeah, that's awesome. All right, cool. So I think that we have a pretty good idea of why the carnival is here, all of the dark magic that is kind of flowing around it. I'm a big fan of folk horror, so that will be something I will be throwing out. Is there any types of horror that you as players really enjoy that you'd like to see besides straight up Cthulhu-ness?
If I don't see tentacles, I'm quitting. No.
Tentacles a must. Okay, got that down.
I love when somebody dies in a location and they haunt that location. Like unfinished death, you know. I love a good haunting.
Ghost. Okay, cool. Saint, do you have any particular?
I know I'm kind of a equal opportunity horror kind of gal. So
Okay.
I think I'll probably be easy to please. And I'll just assume everything. I will have a shotgun approach. So get ready.
Scatter shot.
No,
It will definitely not be vampires because that's our other show, Dead Drop. So Michelle?
Well, I love folk horror. I love I've been getting really into things about liminal spaces.
Yeah.
And
explain what that is for people who have not been watching YouTube.
Liminal spaces are like abandoned
or airplane bathrooms
places. Yeah, or airplane bathrooms, but it's like these abandoned buildings and abandoned spaces that served a purpose once but no longer serve that purpose.
Right.
And there's been a lot of horror and alternate reality games and stuff. There's a whole genre of videos on YouTube about liminal spaces, and
awesome.
I've been getting into the back rooms lately. And
yes. Oh my gosh, back rooms is crazy right now.
I know
That would it might be a little kitschy to jump on it. But I was saying, my vote might be, let's get some sort of thing where I shouldn't just say no clip out of space, but you fall through space as you know it and end up somewhere.
Well,
an alternate dimension type. I like alternate dimension type.
That is very much a Lovecraft trope anyway. There's lots of alternate dimensions. There's the dreamlands are a big thing. So those are definitely things that will probably come up, definitely. And yes, we might no clip right into them, but we'll call it something else. We'll proto no clip it.
Proto no clip.
That that and like vast geometric shapes that somehow are like a representation of a group. The upside down pyramid that like I'm literally picturing this game Control, where it was like there's an entity called the board, and it was a pyramid upside down. You couldn't see the end of it. And I was like, I like stuff like that too.
Like the Illuminati kind of thing.
That is so oddly specific,
right?
That's I'm not saying I know anything. I'm just saying this video game is great, but like the way it worked with negative space and sound was really cool. So I mean, that's all already there. So awesome. I'm just talking.
So those all sound like great things. Let's talk about how our characters are. We kind of hit on Janine's background a little bit with this. She's a local from a rich family that's their dad's on the board of the Miskatonic U. Miskatonic U is the only thing grabbing people and bringing them to Arkham. The carnival was a hope to maybe bring in some tourism, but it doesn't seem to have worked as well as you were all hoping, the city was hoping. So let's build on that to see, where do different people actually come from? Where do they come from in the bigger world, and what made them join up with the carnival? B, let's hear about your, what was it, Tiny King?
Short King.
Short King. Tell us about your Short King and how they became involved with the carnival.
Yeah. Well, I think as I was kind of going over the investigator skills, it helped me detail what this person's story was going to be like. And I think he was from a town, maybe like one town over from the university. Middling job parents. Maybe one was a cook at the university. The other one maybe was a teacher. Very basic stuff that like paid the bills. We were comfortable. What happened in these years? Somebody would have probably gone off to war, but that's fine.
The last big war was World War One in 1918, around there. That was the last big one.
Yeah. Okay. You know what? Yeah, no, I think I'm rare in the sense that I have both parents who are here. Maybe my father's got like a club leg, something that's kind of kept him in the country. But that's not really what's important. What's important is they had big dreams for me. They had dreams for me to become an electrician and be able to support myself in a world where technology and electricity is just like there's so much of this. Like this is the best job to get in the market nowadays. There's no failing. And the Short King had better ideas. I think he stole a couple of cars, stole some motorcycles, and was just getting in trouble with the law in his town and decided, you know what? Fuck this. I'm gonna go live my dreams. Peace out. Borrowed, some kid's bike down the street and just rode into wherever this story takes place, Arkham, and join the carnival.
That's awesome. And so you could literally be from Salem, you could be from Brooklyn, you could be from any Providence, you could be from Kingsport.
I wonder if I could do a Brooklyn accent.
Well,
is it the same Brooklyn?
Practice.
I do.
It's the
okay.
Same Brooklyn.
Okay, I have a very poor concept of geography.
You have a week you can practice. Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
You're up from Brooklyn.
Perfect.
That's funny. All right. So, Saint, how long have you been with the carnival?
I'd like to think that I've been with them for a substantial amount of time. I'm imagining my character is familiar with the animals. It's not like the first time or like she just signed on yesterday. But I'm also, because I love the research aspect, I'm wondering if this is like, maybe she thought it was going to be a study abroad kind of situation and then ended up sticking around. I don't know why. I'm going to think that my mini background with family is that I have a tense relationship with my parents, and my father was an avid hunter and wanted me to be kind of like a naturalist a bit and was interested in that kind of things. The result of seeing the world wars and thinking about, okay, well, if the world truly ends in this way or whatever, my family needs to be secure. So I have a little bit of that background, but I'm just going to lean fully into like, but I didn't want to kill any animals. So I did the flip, and I was looking at biology in university. I'm going to think maybe not Miskatonic University, even though what's my original idea?
You don't have to be from that particular, because if the carnival just arrived, let's say a year ago,
right,
and some of you were pulled towards it for whatever reason, evil, that works. Your parents really wanted you to be the next John Muir, but it just didn't ever happen. So
ew.
No.
First of all, ew.
Hey, I might actually work that into. That is interesting. Yeah. And then there was just, I guess, a divorcing from science, and I ended up the keeper of this carnival. And I'm thinking, if we've been traveling around for a bit, I might have dropped out of school, and I guess feeling kind of like I'm maybe just this natural gal. Like, Sure, I did science and stuff for a while. Maybe I just want to like hang with the big cats and hatch some turtles. I don't.
So,
but yeah,
how many creatures are in your magnificent menagerie? Like how many animals are you taking care of right now?
I am very flexible on that. I think it'd be cool if we had one big thing.
Right.
Leave it up to you, dear master here. And probably water things. I'm so open to, because I feel like obviously reptiles
I think
and
that
then
you probably
amphibious things.
You probably have a few animals that you dress up to look like other animals, which is a very
Yes.
carnival thing.
Absolutely.
You
Like
know,
an alligator with wings, so
Yeah.
it's
Right.
a dragon.
So it's a dragon,
Yes.
stuff like that.
Maybe a really large rabbit. And I'm like, well, I can put some antlers on here.
Yeah.
The Fleming
It's a
rabbits or
jackalope.
whatever they are.
Yes.
Jackalope.
Yes.
Yeah.
So yeah, and then perhaps I don't know if I can write in that which creature we found that I'm like, this is weird. Maybe not a fire breathing cat, but
Right. No, I totally
have something that
that's
seems
me
like a
messing with it.
salamander. Yeah.
I think between now and our first episode next week on Tuesday, we will have that particular creature ready. I'll text you and we'll figure it out.
Cool.
Awesome. Michelle, how are you
Yes.
connected to this?
Well, B had mentioned their character being from Brooklyn, possibly, and maybe we know each other from the neighborhood, you know?
Yes.
Because I have a feeling that I'm Franny Romano,
Oh!
and Franny had the dream of being the next Sarah Boynton, but she didn't quite make it. So she decided to. What's wrong, Wes?
Yeah.
I am in love.
Let me just put it this way. I've been married to Michelle for almost 23 years, and this is why. Just awesome
Endless
stuff.
entertainment.
Endless
But,
Yes.
But we, maybe I tried to be an actress, and I figured that in order to climb in the ranks, I had to do things I wasn't prepared to do. So my choices were be an actress, be a mall, or find my own path.
A mall?
Yeah, a gangster's girlfriend.
Okay.
Wow.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Neat.
So I decided to put on a character, and I talk like Miss nice, strange, vaguely Eastern European accent.
Yes.
And I tell your fortune.
You were going to have a hell of a time maintaining the two, and I live for this.
They're going to get so mixed up, and it'll be just pure comedy.
Yes.
All right. Yeah, no, it was great. That's hysterical. So I guess my question is also age. How old are all of you? Like, are you all the same age-ish, or?
I guess I
Go
should
ahead.
be younger. Only because I am probably like recently dropped out of university or college. So like 21 maybe. I still have to have I still have to have like an underdeveloped brain to be able to willingly make these poor choices, you know?
That doesn't
Have
fully...
you seen the Jackass guys? They're 40.
They started young. They started young, shook their heads, hit their heads on a bunch of stuff, and just never.
The fact
never,
they're still alive
never
is kind of
quite.
amazing.
It's like
Yeah,
Hangover.
kind of
You just
amazing.
got to keep
Kind of
doing it.
amazing.
Yeah, what about our dilettante? How old is she?
I think still young enough that the bells aren't being rung for hurry up and get married. So maybe like 19,
Right.
like very young.
I have
Very
no
young.
idea when people get married in the 30s.
They
Yeah.
they get married pretty young, but
Okay.
They start, like, if they're in high society, they start having total, like, balls and dances and everything to start marrying people off.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
Again, with the personal life thing, kind of a little more freedom because wealthy as fuck and like independently wealthy my family is, and no real need for.
right, and your dad's gonna force the guy to sign a prenup anyway. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I feel like we have some really good backgrounds. I feel like we have some, good cohesion to the group and why you're all kind of drawn together. This mismatch of people drawn to a carnival with unknown reasons. We'll have to see what things come of this constant show that you're trying to put on. Let's talk about bonds. And usually, so this is something that we steal from basically Powered by the Apocalypse games, where you have some kind of connection to another player's character that helps kind of with the role play and how you're interacting with each person. Usually it's 3 bonds altogether. You ask a question like, I believe that so-and-so, and then you fill in the blank of the character that you want to be attached to, is on the up and up and I can always trust them. Or I don't believe so-and-so is on the up and up and I've got to keep my eye on them. Things like that. I doubt anybody, I don't know, except for I know Michelle said something about a name. I don't know how many of the rest of you have names picked out. Don't stress if you don't have names yet. You can just use you can use B or Saint or whatever for right now. And then we can add names in later. So, excuse me. So what kind of links between each other do you think you all have?
What if my name was Rex?
That's perfectly fine. Are you
like
literally
that.
looking at a T-Rex right now?
I
I just want to know.
They're powerful, but they got short arms. So like there's something in there.
That. Oh, B, you win. You win.
Amazing.
B wins. Okay, Rex works. And what was yours again, Michelle? Was it Fran?
Franny.
Franny. All right. So
Short for Francesca.
Francesca.
Oh, I love it.
Franny.
Mine is gonna be Esther.
Esther.
Ooh.
I like that.
Yeah.
Esther.
I've always liked that name.
Mhm.
My grandma's name.
That's a great name
Aw.
that died out. I mean, there's not a lot of Esthers around, I don't think, anymore.
I know one from like 8th grade.
That's yeah. I can't remember the last time I met someone with that name. Saint, do we have any ideas or
No.
Okay.
No.
Okay, well, we can wait. And so again, what kind of connections does everyone have?
Well, I could figure, one very easy one would be like I help somebody either procure a pet, get better at having a pet, or rehome a pet ethically.
I think I could have possibly sold you some birds or like provided you with something for the carnival. I'm like, everything here seems really nice, but also, what if you had X?
And I was be like,
What is
yes.
what is the strange animal that I procured
Oh yeah,
or
we gotta
from
figure that
or
out.
to you?
Maybe
Some sort
an
of-
iguana or something like that.
Ooh, exotic.
Very exotic, or chameleon, the changing color properties would be fun.
Mm-hmm.
Wait, does it have to be a real? Oh, yes, it does. It does. Real animals. I'm
Real
just so
animals for
excited
now.
for the cryptid.
There's gonna be
Alright.
there's
You gave me a gremlin.
I told you not to
Feed
feed
it
it
after
after
midnight.
midnight.
Yes.
Stereo
don't give it a
jokes.
bath.
Oh, what if though, like maybe, like I told you, or like a two-headed snake, because there's some actual in real life two-headed
Right,
snakes.
yeah,
that
absolutely. Like
that could
that's and that would
survive.
totally fit with the carnival vibe. Look at the mysterious snake, and it's just a
Yeah,
two-headed snake.
it's just my baby.
Actually, less than a two-headed snake. I think just a snake in general.
Okay,
Maybe
yeah.
we can pick something.
Like a python or something.
Yeah.
Oh, have you seen a rainbow? I believe it's a rainbow python or something.
Oh.
And it literally is an iridescent cool scales. I mean, no one's gonna see these, but that's just a cool snake.
Yeah.
Rainbow python. Let me
So,
see. I'm down for that.
So is the bond going to be Saint has traded animals with Esther before, and that they have a love of animals that that has been kind of their connection.
I like that. How you
That could be
feel?
good. Yeah, that could work.
Yeah.
Awesome.
I will say that Esther knows next to nothing about animals, but that's why she keeps coming back.
Yeah. I got you. I'll
So
make
you're
little
saying I
notes.
have to use the mice to do what?
Can you come over and do that for me?
So, okay, great. What about Michelle? What do you think, who do you think Franny has a really good connection with or a bad connection with?
No, I think that Franny probably knows Rex from the neighborhood.
Mm-hmm.
And like maybe I'm friends with their older sister or something.
My older sister, makes a lot of fake IDs and things like that.
So I would definitely know your older sister.
Grab a couple, sell some to some of your customers. Who knows?
Yeah. So I probably and to use a PBTA kind of thing is just I know Rex would always have my back.
Yes.
So that is a good bond to have. Do you have another bond that you might have with a different player?
I think that Esther, maybe, I don't know, maybe the way Esther came into the carnival was because I used to read her cards and everything like that.
I liked that one.
Yeah. And she knows I'm Franny now, but back then I made some bank off her.
I think when I found out like what your whole deal was, I was just like, well, I think I like the real Franny anyway, so you could have just asked me for the money. We're friends.
Yeah, so
I still do readings for her.
It started off as a grift, but then it moved into friendship. That's such a good story.
Wholesome.
It's heartwarming.
It's heartwarming. That's perfect. Okay. B, who do you have besides with Michelle and Rex and Franny? Who else do you think you have a bond with?
Okay, I was thinking, Esther / Janine, how are you about like romance in the sense that like I'm fawning over you?
I was gonna say she is down to be chased. Like that's her whole thing.
Okay, like I absolutely put you on a pedestal. You can do no harm. It's in a sense it's kind of toxic. Like I'll put down my jacket so you can walk over puddles.
No, it's just like my real life.
Perfect.
What was your character's name?
Rex. As soon as I saw that name, it just felt appropriate. You know?
All right, cool. Is there so besides love interest, what is there another character you would have a bond with?
Well, then that leaves Saint's character, and I am genuinely a little stuck. Like, beyond our positions within the carnival, like I almost want to leverage that because I don't know enough of our personalities to be like, oh, we would do this and this together. Like I can I tell everybody what my phobias are? Or is that like something I have to keep hush?
No, you can talk about your phobias if you like.
I put down reptiles.
Ah.
And that's
Yeah.
something you deal with a lot. So I don't know if we can utilize that. Or like I wanted to be a lion tamer, and you had to be like, ooh, there's some ethics we gotta talk about. And I was like, ethics schmessics. That's a hard word to say. But like
I
there's
can
something
see-
there.
Yeah, I can see that because especially like you're super strong, and then I'm like upper middle class strong. So like
That's a
there's
mood,
like
though.
yeah, I think there's a level of like where I probably think like the animals don't respect you. And maybe because of the fear of the like reptiles, and I totally like my
The
biology
snakes
teacher.
can taste it on the air.
Yeah, that's what I'm doing, and I think I'm gonna have like definitely a pocket snake because my biology teacher in real life had that, and it was so cozy and warm in her pockets
Yeah.
all the time. So I'm like, okay, that'd be really fun.
As long
And
as
probably
pocket
you hate
snake isn't
that.
a euphemism.
Oh my god! Wow.
Wow.
Okay.
Sorry, I
Even
had to.
crossed
I
my
had to. I'm
mind.
so sorry.
Wow.
But I
My
have a
innocent
healthy
mind.
fear of you.
Okay.
Like I
probably-
start to sweat when you're around.
All right.
I would also see my character like letting you think you could try to tame lions and then letting you get almost in trouble before.
Yes!
Yeah. You're like,
So-
Theodore, stop.
Theodore.
I don't know about Theodore, but
That's
now,
their name now. It's canon.
Are you gonna be trying to help Rex with the phobia?
You don't have to.
You don't,
I don't
have
think
to.
so.
No, you're just gonna let it ride.
I'm gonna. I think it's silly.
Okay,
It's silly.
that makes
No
total
Yeah.
sense.
rational person has a fear of reptiles.
No, I don't. There's cute. They're cutie patooties.
When you are 5 feet, they are not cute. They're large and terrifying.
That's hysterical. I think, are all of you like size wise? I'm just
Oh,
curious.
yeah. Wait.
Let's go through sizes again because I have to remember this. Starting with B. What is your size?
35.
Okay, Michelle.
I am small.
45.
Saint.
I'm 40.
Awesome. And Janine.
30.
Wow.
Just a compact little cat.
30? That's like,
Are. I love it.
yeah.
All
We're party
right.
of smalls. It's good.
5'1", 5'2".
I mean, I've claimed five. I've claimed 5'1". So if you're at 30, you're like 4'9", 4'10".
Oh, so cute.
that works out really well.
That's really what the attraction is, though. Like, you're my height. I'm taller than you. I can make this work.
Really funny. I think that's.
think-
Go
well,
ahead.
I think the only one that Saint and I don't have a bond yet.
Okay.
Mhm.
Right.
I'm wondering if I know a secret about Saint. I
Hmm.
don't know what.
Yeah, it could be. Yeah, it could be like, because I'm not sure like what if I'm running away kind of from that institution that I was with, or if I was kind of sent here with some sort of mission that I then decided I don't give a shit about. I'm kind of
So
by institution, I
refresh
mean
my
school.
refresh my memory about the institution.
Of the school. Sorry,
Of the
yeah,
school.
that's what I meant by institution.
Yeah, because that could be a whole.
Yeah, not the institute. Yeah, running. So, because what I pictured is like, I'm studying, and then at one point there's like, okay, study abroad, and I'm super not attached to where I'm coming from due to the differences with my family. So I'm like, okay, let's study abroad. And then I don't know, like, okay, what was that program though? Like, are you taking samples? Are you like, live samples, or are they dead samples? That's like actually in biology, and like, I don't know, I could shrug that off completely because I don't know
I think it's good.
animals.
I think that like if you, yeah, Bowman's like institution was an Arkham Asylum.
Yes.
Yeah, not that institution.
Saw that.
No, that works out fine. But what? I get where Michelle's coming from. What secret could? How dedicated to animals?
You what, mate?
Is Saint when it comes to like, would your character kill someone to protect an animal?
The old Carol Baskin.
Poison ivy. Oh.
Something.
Carol.
She didn't do it, by the way.
She didn't do it.
By the way, she did not do it. It's very likely that guy's alive, apparently. So I'm just
Carol Baskin. Killed her husband, whacked him.
I don't know. But
yeah, maybe.
Or I don't know.
I'm open to it.
It could be any number of things that we don't have to name the secret right now. We could again wait for it to come out during the game. That might be kind of a cool reveal at some point where maybe, Franny's kind of keeping it in her pocket because she's a grifter and, she knows when to use her advantage, as it were. So, yeah, those all sound like incredible things. I'm really excited for this game. I think it's going to be a lot of fun. These are some great characters. I think that we have a good basis to start next week. So, I would say finish up your characters. Does anybody have anything else they want to add? I think we pretty much have it, though. I mean,
yeah. Looks like it.
Any thoughts? Okay, cool. So, again, to everybody who's been watching, we really appreciate you hanging out with us. We will be back at the same time at 6 p.m. Pacific time. And that's very important because B and I are constantly trying to figure out time zones. And it sometimes doesn't work. So we will be back next Tuesday at the same time. We will be starting episode 1 with this creepy carnival that has drawn these people to Arkham. They're being paid to be there, but not many people are showing up. Just sometimes locals or people from Innsmouth come through, and they feel strange about the fact that sometimes they want to leave, but they just can't for some reason. And we will
obviously Rex can't leave without my hand in marriage.
Yes, very true. Rex is like, can I get an apartment?
Oh my gosh.
How much money does it take for someone that calls themselves a dilettante?
He doesn't even know what that word is.
Is it $1.50 a week? Would that work?
I can count about that high.
So we will also watch the unfolding of Rex.
Yes.
But anyway, we really appreciate you watching, and we hope you'll join us next week. This is going to be a lot of fun, and I think that's it. Thanks you so much. Bye.
Bye.